So I saw Avatar Fire and Ash. I guess let's just start with the summary. How about we start there? Jake Sully and the remainder of his family, those who aren't dead, find themselves once more in hiding as Quaritch and the human military continue to expand their presence on Pandora. And a new wrinkle arrives in the form of a rogue Na'vi tribe of savages led by someone named Varang, and she joins up with Quaritch, and they hunt Jake Sully, and there's back and forth and something with Iwa. Spoiler alert up top, I didn't like this movie at all. I thought the writing was not good. The acting was flat. The plot was boring. And at the end of the movie, there was just not much to talk about. Philosophically, emotionally, theoretically, or anything. It's just not a thing that's worth the discussion. Except for one thing, one part of this that makes reviewing Avatar Fire and Ash kind of difficult compared to other things. And that the movie is gorgeous. It looks so good. It is a visual feast. It's imaginative. There's tons of imagery that you could pull out of an art book, a fantasy art book, a sci-fi art book. It's just, there's so much on screen to look at, and all that stuff to look at is the best it's ever been. And so as I sit here, kind of looking over the notes of my review that I wrote, the big thing that stands out to me is that what the heck is everyone else doing? Sure, Avatar itself. The first one was fine, a basic story, looked great. Way of Water, okay, nothing to write home about, but still entertaining and very visually distinct and very great to watch. The eyes had a treat. They were entertained. Same with this one. And why aren't movies today doing that same thing? I get that there is a complicated, the answer to this is complicated. There are a lot of factors from production companies, budget, money, technology, availability, what have you. But I'm sitting here thinking, why can't we have it all? Why can't I, as a moviegoer, have it all? The great visuals, the imagination on screen, coupled with a fantastic story. Because that's the thing. This movie isn't bad. That's not that bad. It's basic. It's just basic. That's all it is. You have seen this movie before twice. It is the same movie as Way of Water, which is the same movie as the first one. Just details are switched around, pieces move in different ways. Everything is generally there, what was once there before. There's no surprises in any of this. But no movie's matched this. No movie has matched any of these films. And when they get close, the next one comes out and sets that goalpost further. I think there is an element where we have to admit that the Avatar movies have an immense imagination behind them. I think, of course, throughout all the reviews I've seen, it's worth acknowledging that any of these movies have value on that front. But they severely lack in all the other areas. But what's trying to compete? I'm looking through various movies that came out between these, went to various lists, and anytime something popped up there that was really good, like a fantastic story, fantastic acting, the pieces were all in place, it looked fine. It looked good. It looked decent. As technology gets better, with all these movies, the Avatar films, technologically they're raising the tide for what visuals can do. But then, why aren't the other boats rising with it? Why are they instead sinking? There's a sequence in Fire and Ash where the hero Jake Sully and his family, they board merchant ships, which are these huge dirigible balloon-like things that are attached to pseudo-galleon-esque platforms that are then driven along by these air manatee things. I'm not giving this a very good description at all, but their arrival was breathtaking. These huge alien-like creatures coming in with these big balloons that are holding all these things aloft, and just how it covers the entire screen. You can spend time in each of the details, like what things are holding the balloons to the masts. Okay, that's interesting. You have the different Na'vi running around them. They're like a merchant cast of Na'vi. That's kind of interesting. They have different regalia. They speak differently with the other tribes. They're all dancing around this thing like they're not afraid of heights, which, is crazy to me. But throughout all of this, I'm just in wonder, in awe. I'm looking around like, what? There's so much of this planet that's interesting to look at visually and explore. I start to think in terms of the types of imagination exercises I do in both tabletop and the things I imagine when I'm reading fantasy literature or pulp or genre. I'm thinking, like, right now I'm in reading through Michael Moorcock and the Elric saga, and all that visual. They even have, there's a lot of moments in there where I'm like, this could be big. The visuals and the backgrounds could be huge, painterly, just exciting the senses visually to the eyes. That's what this movie does. Fire and Ash does this at all points. It's a treat for the eyes. But we keep circling around back to this part that the content is nothing. There's nothing to it. Who cares what Quaritch is up to? He's still alive somehow across 3 movies. He died but didn't die to escape to come back and die again. Great. The family all have their own dramas. Sully is still bridging that gap between human and Na'vi, and I mean, there's little wrinkles here and there, but the whaler things are back from the second movie. So, it's like, okay, well, we've seen that again. This Iwa, or this religious aspect the spiritual aspect they're playing with, it's there again. Sigourney Weaver, child version of Sigourney Weaver. I can't even think of her name, but she's on this spiritual quest trying to reconnect, discovering she's a clone, which we've known since, like, forever in this film series. There's no surprises there. We know at the end she's going to make her connection, and it's going to be at a crucial juncture where all the ships are fighting in the battles, which look absolutely stunning. Like, I don't want to put your mind in the wrong place by evoking this moment from the very beginning of Revenge of the Sith, where you've got the airships going like do 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 do. Not that music, mind you, but the ships. We're just following the ships over this background. It looks like it's over a cruiser, and as the camera just pans down, suddenly we're at this battle, this thing that just opens up. And this movie, Fire and Ash, opens up continually. There's always these moments where we're going from something intimate outward into something larger than life, and like without the foundation of good storytelling in there, like fantastic storytelling, it is a bit hollow, but not that hollow. So I don't know. I'm not here to defend Fire and Ash, although that is kind of where this is going. What I would like to see, what I was hoping the Avatar films would do, and why I kind of despair at the end of this one, is that I want this. I want visually what the Avatar films are doing. I want that. But I want everything else up there at that same level. I want to care about my protagonists as they have their spiritual journey or their moral journey, whatever that tension is. I want to have that be interesting and thought-provoking, and also touching on aspects of right and wrong, morality, law, chaos. Like I'm looking at a lot of old classic literature, and I think those were so evocative. With the words, they created these kinds of worlds in your head. The Dune movie was close. It looked pretty good. This looks better. I mean, but you see kind of where I'm going at with, like, why is it that there's only Dune kind of as the comparison visually for this? Boy, this got real rambly. So to wrap things up real quick and to kind of put a finer point on it, I would rate this 1 out of 5 stars across the board. Content wise, story wise, writing wise, acting wise, no. Just no. Visually, there's nothing like it. Visually, if based on visuals alone, this could be 4 out of 5. Was this anything similar to your experience? I'm curious. I know it's easy to hate. It's easy to hate on the Avatar films, and for good reason. Their stories are just a bunch of nothing burger. But, like, what are we doing? Can't we have both? I want both. So sound off in the comments. And if you have a chance, check the link below for the actual well-written, non-rambly version of this review. And, yeah, what'd you think? Like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And I'll see you in the next video, whenever that may be.